Nighttime shoots can be properly tricky, especially if you don't have access to huge, massive lights. So why would you even bother going out there into the heart of darkness? Well, because with these simple steps, you can get cinematic results without even putting down a light stand. Trust me, it's... Oh my God! Oh my God!
Just why I am counting each moment till again I return.
So how do major Hollywood films shoot at night? Yeah, I mean, they use massive f***ing lights. What are you gonna do? You know, they got money. They got loads of money. So what can we do when that just isn't a realistic option? Well, first, let's get the basics right. It goes without saying you're gonna wanna get yourself a fast lens. So that's anything that shoots 2.8 or lower, which will give you loads of flexibility in low light level situations, which will mean you won't be forced to crank up that ISO to obscene, disgusting levels, which will introduce noise and result in your footage looking like a swarm of ants and all you can eat buffet. Location, your camera sensor, my friend. You know, nobody wants that. So for every shot I show you, I'll put the camera settings just about here so you can see how much flexibility you get in each scenario. Now we have our lens sorted, we can start to think about, you know, what locations can give us a decent quality of light. Now, quality of light basically refers to how hard or soft a light source is. So a lamppost would be considered quite a hard, harsh light and will most definitely be quite unflattering. So I wouldn't really bother. It's not going to be that cinematic shot you think it could be, but in reality it's going to be an absolute f***ing horror show. And that's because it's a small light source concentrated in a really small condensed area, giving us these really unflattering, harsh, hard shadows. Now, of course, hard shadows can look beautiful. But this is a crappy street lamp, so it's, you know, it's going to be this. Oh, hello. So where can we find the good stuff? And what are we looking for in good quality light when we're shooting at night? This guy, man, you needs to go on holiday or just, I don't know, take a day off. Unless you're trying to work here. This guy's trying to kill me. I mean... So yeah, back to the good stuff. A huge, massive open-air car park, for example, creates a nice, even, soft light that covers a big area. You know, for obvious reasons. It's a car park. I shot a few scenes for my short film here for that very reason. Huge coverage of the floodlights meant that we could be really versatile in the amount of different types of shots we could get. We weren't just restricted to close-ups and mids, but we could also get wide shots as well, which for this scene was pretty integral, considering there was two cars meeting up. You know, who would have thought it? Cars in a car park. Other locations that would match this type of lighting could be a petrol station or maybe even a football stand. Now, as much as I love these shots, lighting-wise, it is a bit on the flat side. So what can we do if we wanted to add a bit more shape? Well, we could head out under the cover of darkness to this sinister looking underpass and try not to get murdered while we film, because again, it's a biggish light source which is evenly lit. But it's small enough that we can actually control it by, say, bringing in some negative fill to the opposite side of the face to create some nice shadows and give our face a little bit more shape. You know, I mean, that's exactly what I'm doing here in this setup, to be fair. I mean, you know, I'll show you. Place camera there, got some negative fill of my own. Flat. Hey, a bit of shape. I hear you say that's all well and good, but what if there is literally no artificial light, or natural light to that matter, and the darkness is all around me, like a tiny coat of sadness? Then I recommend you get yourselves a tiny little bit of blue hour. So blue hour is the period after the sun has just dipped below the horizon, causing the sky to take on this nice deep bluish colour. So generally in films and TV, we've come to accept that a nighttime scene will look, you know, something like this, a bit on the blue side, you know, even if that's not the case in reality. So this makes blue hour the perfect time to cheat a nighttime scene, because there's enough ambient light left over from the sun that our cameras can still make out what's going on. Which is perfect for us because, you know, the whole point of this video was to show you that you can actually film a nighttime scene without bringing any lights. So before we dive into camera settings and how to achieve a cinematic look during blue hour, there's one fairly crucial thing you need to know. Yeah, it's not an hour, it is 20 to 30 minutes max. No idea who decided to call it Blue Hour, but I guarantee you it was someone in marketing down in the Earth's core who just was like,
So research tells us that Blue Hour isn't an hour. But if I'm being honest, I don't really care. It's got a nice ring to it, so lock it in, guys, because it's called Blue Hour.
So what this means is, yeah, you really need to plan your shots in advance, because that time is just going to zip past. And before you know it, boom, that sun's gone. And yeah, you didn't get any of your shots. Right, so these shots, I've kept the white balance set to around 3300. I mean, any cooler than that, personally, I feel like it might be a bit overkill. You know, getting a bit too blue out there. I've also desaturated these shots a bit in post, as well as boosting the yellow light coming from the windows in the background. The combination of natural blue ambient light and, you know, an orange yellow practical light is an absolute standard in film and TV, and you'll see it used all over the shop, to be honest, because the two colours contrast very nicely. And again, it helps to try and sell the fact that it's nighttime. Plus, it just looks really cool. And in my mind, that's a good enough reason to do anything. It's the only reason to, well, it's not the only reason to do anything, but, you know, it's a main one, I'd say that. So if anyone says otherwise, they're wrong. It also helps that on this particular evening, it was pretty overcast, so there wasn't any cloud formations in the sky, which until recently, I didn't know that at night time, it's very rare that you'll see any clouds. I'm embarrassed, to be honest, that I didn't know that, but apparently, you know, I'm just not looking up. So if that's what we're going for, these shots we filmed on another evening don't really work for selling a nighttime scene. It also doesn't help that the direction we chose to film in was where the sun had literally just set, so the sky was unbelievably bright. But I still really like these shots, even if they're not right for this nighttime scene we're trying to achieve. So, checklist wise, for us to achieve our nighttime scene, firstly, we want to shoot against an overcast sky. We don't want to see any clouds in the background. Secondly, we want to shoot on the opposite side of where the sun has just set, so the blue skyline in the background isn't too bright. Thirdly, where possible if we can, shoot with some orange, yellow practical lights in the background, just to help sell the fact that it's nighttime, and also so we've got that nice colour contrast between the yellow and orange and the nice ambient blue light. And finally, plan well in advance, because yeah, Blue Hour, that's going to go quick. It's going to go so quick, you're going to be like, where did it go? Did anyone see it? It's gone. It was here a minute ago and it's gone. To add another dynamic, you could always introduce a prop for your actor to have. It could be as simple as them taking out their phone to check some messages, with the phone screen lighting the side of their face. Or it could be the absolute cold classic of them going outside to have a cigarette and the lighter is being used to illuminate the side of their face. Or if you didn't want to use a cigarette, you know, maybe your character is so dangerous he's just out there licking flames because he's a madman, and you want your audience to know that. And how do you let your audience know that? Well, he's out here licking flames. That's how goddamn dangerous he is. But what if we wanted to add one other teeny tiny little thing, like a battery powered panel light to help motivate the light coming from these windows in the background? Would that be breaking the rules of this video? Yeah, of course it would. The video is called Lighting a Night with Zero Lights, and I've just said, hey, bring a light. So yeah, it breaks those rules. But technically I said without bringing a light stand. You know, and as you can see, this isn't a light stand. This is a man called Barney, who may be a serial killer. Who knows? So if you are going to bring a light to do a nighttime scene, bring a light stand. Don't bring Barney, because who knows what he's capable of. Probably murder. He's probably capable of murder. I